Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Trustworthy Live. Today, it's just me and Christina. We're gonna like pop on by ourselves every couple weeks, and we're gonna talk to you about what's coming up, how excited we were, and what we learned from past speakers. We'd love for you to just in the chat if you joined us with past speakers to talk to us about what you learned as well. So, how are you today?
I'm great. It's a wonderful week. My word of the week is balance. So I'm
Ooh.
very excited for what this balanced week has to come, what it's got in store for me. How about you?
I overslept today. So I think that although I tried to have like to plan a very calm week where I could work a lot on trustworthy and take walks and be in balance, the fact that I've been so rushed this morning feels like it's not quite starting off the way I had hoped or anticipated. So other than that, I'm doing great. But I did get up and we are here. And what more can we want, right? I think that's awesome.
That's true.
It all
That's
worked out.
very true. It does. It does. It all works out at the end, in the end. And you know what? Maybe your body needed more sleep and you were taking care of Susan. And I love that for you.
I got 9 hours. So for the audience, it isn't like I was up late having a great time. I got 9 hours of sleep. So yeah, I love to sleep. So that worked out great. So anyway, into let's talk about trust. So so what did let's start from the back. We talked with last week with Christine McHugh. And I thought what we do is just talk about what we've learned between Christina Ram and then jump into what's next week because I really, really am excited about our next Trustworthy Lab.
Yeah, no,
So
me
what did you
too.
learn with Christine?
What I loved about the conversation with Christine is that she made me realize that supply chains can be kind of long or they can be short, um, depending on what type of like initiative you're working through or the type of, project you're on. But what I found really kind of thought-provoking for me is that a breakdown in trust in just like one step or one area of the supply chain can impact the whole chain. Like the distrust kind of permeates and behaviors start to become norms, the things that kind of trigger people or that make people suspicious. And I just thought, wow, I didn't even realize that, distrust in one section can just kind of become quite contagious.
And I love that. And then to just kind of take it from there, what I learned, when I think about trust in the supply chain, I become very, oh my gosh, that's something I don't really understand because I don't understand the supply chain world, very much. I never lived in it. And what I found fascinating about her conversation is that the same things that impact trust between people and teams and organizations impact trust in a supply chain. So open, honest, and genuine communication, being incredibly transparent about what's going on, doing what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it, being consistent and reliable. All those things that we've been talking about for the last year and a half, and we have focused on trust between people and organizations and teams are in fact what's important with a supply chain. It's not like you need to learn a new skill set. It's that to be trustworthy is the same across the board. And it's really about exercising that trust muscle. And when you
Yeah.
do it and you get good at it, it really works across, within other areas as well. That was
Yeah.
really what resonated with me.
I love that. Yeah, I really enjoyed our conversation with Christine, and I'm actually looking forward to having her back again in the near future as well.
Yeah, me too. So start with Rom. What'd you learn about Rom with Rom?
There's so much I loved about the conversation as well with Ram. And sorry, I'm just going to put my hand up in a stop sign because my camera keeps going back and forth and back and forth. Here we are. Here we are. Now we're stable. Um, what did I love about our conversation with Ram? Goodness, there's so much. I feel like the number one takeaway for me was the fact that at the end of the day, it comes back to authenticity and the people who are going to thrive in a world using AI are those who can show up with authenticity and those who can show up and build relationships. And for me, that was really special because I do talk a lot about human skills in a lot of what I do with transformation. You know, you can be really great at some of the technical things. You can be really, really great at sales. You can be really great at crunching numbers. But there are ways that, we can leverage AI to enhance and support some of those areas where we have a key differentiator is in our ability to really build trust authentically with people. And that's something that is not going to go away.
Exactly. I love that about what he said too, that it's about the human piece that makes things different because ChatGPT and um, other tools like that really make data and getting data or getting what as it relates to research already done, the data already out there, really easy to get. Like that's really not difficult anymore. What I loved about what Ram told us was that, you know, I laughed because when he asked you, did you run the introduction through ChatGPT? And we had. We modified it, we edited it, we made it ours, but yes, we did use ChatGPT. We use it a lot. That the question isn't from an employer or a team leader or a colleague, did you do this through ChatGPT? The assumption is because it's so prevalent and easy to use now that everybody's using ChatGPT. And to ask that question, it's kind of irrelevant. The real question we have to ask is, what are you going to do with this information? Like, okay, so you have this set of data or this information. So now, from a human perspective, how are you going to use it? What are you going to do with it? How are you going to amplify it? How are you going
Mm,
to make what our project is doing better with it? That's really the focus in today's day and age. That that's the thing. And he gave a percentage, I don't remember it now, of how many people are using ChatGPT, but it's there. It's part of our lives now. It's not like it
yeah.
was a year and a half ago where people were still playing with it and not sure. So now then how are we humanizing it, so to speak? So I love that about it because then I'm going to trust you. If I already assume that's where a lot of this is coming from,
Yeah.
then and I'm asking different questions, that level of, did you use ChatGPT to do it, says I don't trust that it's yours.
Yeah,
That's what
that's
it
true.
says. I don't trust what you're giving me is something you produce. But basically, how you got the data isn't really what's important. It's what are you going to do with it?
Mm, that's so
So
true. Wow. I mean, it's the pace at which change around technology is accelerating is just hugely rapid and way more rapid than what we've seen in the past. We're like living in an age of information abundance. And what Ram was trying to explain to us is that it's not just information, it's knowledge. And then how do we translate that to wisdom? And I feel like
exactly.
like what you're saying is like, what are you gonna do with it?
Right, right. And I think that is what, if we focus on what are you going to do with it, think about how that will propel and anything we're working on. Because now the mindset isn't about getting the data. Everybody can get data. I think I laughed when he said, all the LinkedIn posts all look the same now because ChatGPT is generating them. Everybody's figured that out, right? So it's not to get upset about it. It's not to say, oh, you can't trust it. That's okay.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do with it? So with that, let's talk about what we're going to do with our Trustworthy Lab next Tuesday at 10 o'clock Central, because let's assume everybody's been on ChatGPT and we're all like working with it. And this is what you can do next Tuesday. So next Tuesday, we are going to have a special and unique lab. It's going to be for 2 hours instead of one. And the topic is navigating all of these uncertain times using trust skills, using skills around trust and being trustworthy. And so, Chris, what are we talking about when we say navigating uncertain times?
So, I think we're thinking about it in a very practical sense and like what are people really experiencing right now? And there's a lot of uncertainty when it comes to job security, for example. So how do you navigate? Maybe you are employed right now, but your teams are getting smaller or they're not growing to support the amount of work that you've got to do. And you're trying to figure out how am I going to do this? Like how am I going to continue to perform and thrive within my team when I know that I don't know what's going to happen next. Is my job going to be there tomorrow? But if the work keeps coming on and we can't hire, what do I do about that? But then there's the flip side as well. So if you are retired, what does this time of uncertainty mean for you? How do you prepare for what's happening in the stock market, what's happening in society, and maybe what are some things that you might be able to do to help ground yourself in trust to help with not necessarily taking action, but initially just reflecting enough to feel confident in maybe your thought process and your decisions before you actually take them.
Exactly. And when I think about that, we are, so our audience knows this is going to be incredibly not political. This is just what's going on around us. And so we know from talking to our colleagues and friends that people aren't making decisions to move forward. Companies are on hold. So therefore, if you're not growing, are you contracting? Because if companies aren't hiring or aren't signing new contracts, then in fact other contracts start winding down. So then there's less work. And I brought this up on a board I'm on the other day, a committee I was on, and a board actually, where we started talking about it. And people and businesses are kind of really nervous right now because they look in the future and they're not sure what business is coming in. They're seeing business ending. They're seeing
Yeah.
their portfolios go down. They're talking to friends who have been laid off. They're looking at, the news, which is saying businesses are looking to close. So there's a lot of anxiety and stress and tension around what's going on in the world today and how it will affect the individual. And and yeah, I was talking to people in their 50s who were looking at retiring, you're right, and they're looking at their portfolios and they've gone down and they're thinking, well, what's going to happen in the next 12 months? Am I going to be able to retire as planned? And yet, as a manager and a leader and a team leader, you still need to deliver because you are employed. That's the bottom line. So, how can we help you, if you join us, figure out how to navigate these times using trust? And I believe it'll be an incredibly interesting conversation.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a special lab that we're doing specifically for this because we know how much fear and uncertainty there is today. And it's a conversation that people keep, bringing up in outside of the lab with us as well. So we're super excited. We invite you to join us. Um, Susan said 10 Central. It's 9 Central. 9 Central, 9 to 11
It is.
a.m. Central. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's what I meant. 9 to 11. I
Yes.
think I expanded it the other way in my head, but yeah, it's 9 to 11 Central Time.
Yeah, yeah. So when you register via the form that will be below, you'll see we'll have the date, it will have the time, and then for whatever reason, if you can't join us next week, it's okay. There are other dates that you can register for as well because we do these labs every single month. So we invite you to join the conversation regardless.
And let me just add, because trust is so important in these conversations, that the conversations are typically with a small group of people and they are confidential. So you
Yeah.
can talk and speak about what's going on. Um, People keep showing up to our labs because they become very real. People feel like they can have the hard conversations because they know it's going to stay in the lab. What's in the lab stays in the lab.
That's it.
Yep. So
Love
I
it.
think that's it. Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Me too. Me too. And I'm glad
So,
we took the time as well to reflect on the previous live streams that we did with Ram and Christine. And for everyone who missed those live streams, it's okay. We've got you covered. Over the next couple of weeks, we're going to be releasing some golden nuggets of wisdom from the both of them that they shared throughout their kind of long hour conversation with us. And hopefully that also inspires or plants some seeds of you know, courage as well, as you're navigating your supply chain, as you're navigating AI and tech throughout this world. And there will always be a link there as well to link to the long form video. So if you want to kind of deep dive into the conversation, you can as well.
and we always, as always, ask you, please join our LinkedIn page, Trustworthy. We are creating a Facebook page today. So we're going to want you to please follow our Facebook page. We're actually looking today at being on Threads and Substack, and we have a YouTube channel, which of course you can find all of our broadcasts, our podcasts, and our lives. So we're really, excited to reach you on any of those platforms. You can always find us there.
That's it.
That's it.
Perfect.
Have a great day.
Have a
Really
great
excited
day.
that, yeah, have a great week. See
Yeah,
y'all.
we'll
See you
love you
next
and
week.
leave you, and we'll see you next week at the lab.
Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
everyone.